Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a health educator with MaineGeneral's Peter Alfond Prevention and Healthy Living Center and the Community Health Department. And we're here today with Ray to talk about nature, some of the benefits, and some ways that you can enjoy those benefits yourself, as well as some safety tips and just some other interesting tidbits for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Would you like to start by telling us a bit about yourself?
So, I guess to start off, I'm Ray, and I started guiding when we gave up cows. We were broke, and I was looking for something to do that fit me. And I spent most of my life as a kid either on a farm or in nature anyway. And the guides patch was a really good calling card to move me deeper into nature, to help share with people what you are comfortable with. And it just, the beauty in it is it just kept leading me step by step to where we are now today. It turned into a beautiful thing.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
And when you were a child, did you ever have any thoughts that you would go down this path, or anything else that led you to that path other than the cows?
No, you know what? As a kid, I would never have thought that I would ever stand in front of this camera and talk to anybody, because I would have been the shyest person on earth. And the piece that grounded me in nature in my beginning was the elder that I started with as a kid. And that's what got me to nature, to understand and begin. However, my shyness would be like, I would always go find the back seat somewhere and disappear.
So did nature help you to find yourself in that
nature,
more?
You know what it did? Nature helped me to find myself. And then people, you might say, dragged it out of me, because I couldn't hide. If they asked me a question, I finally had to learn to say yes or no, or I don't know, or yes, we understand. And explain to them what is really going on, a little bit at a time. So it was a good stretching. Kind of like, I always viewed it as, you are my teacher, and I'm hanging on a string. And the Creator never cut the string. I just got to, so people pull you out, and it turns into a really nice thing.
It's really beautiful. It sounds like nature and people help kind of work together for that.
It's like a big community.
So part of the Maine Primitive School's vision is proactively developing mutually beneficial relationships with people, plants, animals, and fungi for the purpose of developing healthy individuals, communities, and landscapes for generations to come. So I'm curious to know, what are your tips for us when we're in nature to make sure that we are leaving no trace and causing no disturbance?
I think that's an interesting question, in that nature is something that we need to learn to understand. So we'll say the earth is, in a sense, a living being that we should never be afraid of. Nature, it's not about fearing nature or fearing wildlife. It's about learning who they are. So if you look at bear, you learn the bear's nature, and then you become comfortable in their understanding, or you become comfortable where you are. And if we really look at it all, the leave no trace is a beautiful concept. However, there is no way to walk without leaving a mark. In a sense, when I walk, my footprint is how the earth feels about my foot when it touches. So we're going to have foot trails, or we're going to have canoe trails, or we're going to build a house. Well, a neat way to build a house is to, before you even touch the land, sit down with it and figure out how you would like to see a house, and you fit the house to the land, not the land to the house. That's a leave no trace idea. You have to change in our way of thinking. So I want to understand nature. I want to understand the plants and the trees. You want to understand the wildlife. You begin to understand the water. And then you begin to understand how to move. And the mark that is left is small. And yet it would be lasting too. If we look back through time, indigenous cultures in this part of the country, the trails to travel were always waterways. So on the waterway, when you portage from one place to another, you would find crossbars on the water, on the trail. So when your canoe gets heavy, you set it up, it's upright like this. And then you go back and get a load, and you bring it to the canoe, and you just do a shuttle. And that was gone for thousands of years. So that trail was used in all of those trails. And we as people are leaving trails. And so in a way, it's about how do we use our own life and fit it to work with the earth. And see, how do we make a trail around by the pond in a quiet manner that's not invasive. And we can really do well, and it takes people. It takes maybe a small community of people to look at it and say, how can we do this? Because we're going to leave a mark.
So some people may be hesitant to venture into the woods because they're nervous about animals, that maybe they can be dangerous. So what precautions would you recommend that Mainers are taking as they're heading out into the woods and being present in nature, especially if they're nervous about those animals at times?
I think that's a really real question in that if I am nervous, then first I need to be not afraid to ask what I think is a silly question, because I don't have the answer. And if I'm going out in nature or with taking people into nature, they need to know those answers. So they need to know, it's nice. Go ask about the bear. Sit down and do a little bit of work on it. You can even hit it on a computer today, and you'll have a better understanding of a bear's nature and where you more likely might find them. In this day and age, you have the tick. However, it doesn't mean we stop going into nature. It means we become aware that, the bear is there, the tick is there, all bloodsuckers are in the pond. So if you get down in the pond and stand there for a minute barefoot, you're going to have some. Well, then you put a little salt on them, they go right off. But they're real questions that are completely appropriate to be asking, that help people be comfortable in nature. And then there are ways to deal with ticks. Not that you're not going to get them on you, it's that we got so that when people come, we say, tuck your pants inside a sock. And the tick goes, the lighter your clothes are, the more you see. And we get so that, okay, most of the time we find them before 24 hours is up anyway. And you just pick them off and you get comfortable with tearing the head off. Because that's life. But you have to learn, so we got to ask. Because none of us know everything. So, for people who've got nature clubs, they got the internet, you've got inland fisheries, you've got all those places that you can spread out, ask silly questions. It's okay.
So really
it's important. I've asked a lot of silly questions.
So making sure that we're being genuine in our concerns and asking for help. And you're right, we do have the internet at our hands. If we are concerned about that bear or that mountain lion or anything, find out where they're more likely to be.
Yes.
So before you head out, what are some of your favorite foods that, like your go-to snack items before you head out?
So, like snack items for us would be, we buy a variety of nuts and toss them in a bag, and then we can use cranberries and raisins, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, a little bit of oats to create a granola, and if we're going to put chocolate in, we put in chocolate that's at least 90%, so you're way low on sugar. We're not looking for sugar, we're looking for something that's nutritious to help fill the body and give somebody a little bit of energy on a trip, so we would pass out like little Ziploc bags. And got a basket full.
Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like you're hitting a lot of categories there. You have the protein, for a little bit of protein from the nuts, and some good fats and some fruits.
Right, the proteins, the fats, and
some sweet.
Yeah, something that will carry you. Got to carry me. Sugar will get me this far and then go boom.
Absolutely. Yeah, you need that long-term
Yeah,
sustain.
we need the long energy piece.
Yeah, and then with the oats, you get those whole grains,
Yep.
Good quality carbohydrates.
We do.
So, yeah, that sounds like fantastic.
So today maybe we'll close with a meditation. So I'd ask you to just close your eyes for a minute and then follow your breath. We always say to follow your breath in and follow your breath out. And as you do, consider that the breath out is a gift, your gift back to life. The breath in is a gift, your gift of life to you. And in your hand, we picked a couple of little yellow flowers. I purposely didn't put a name on them. But it's about admiring as you breathe the deep yellow beauties in the flower. And it's as if you breathe that beauty in. You breathe the flower in. With each breath, you take in the beauty. And with each breath, you let it pass on out through creation as it continues to move on and on and on. And that you just hold the flower in a gentle manner, in admiration for something so precious and so beautiful. It's as if you touch it with your finger or your thumb, and yet it's almost so soft that you can't even feel it. And yet it's still there. And it's here for a short time, and then it'll be gone. Those moments. So I'd like to leave you with that right now for a minute or two, and then we'll just turn back to our breath. And through that space, you hold the beauty of the flower in the palm of your hand. So I'd like to really thank you. And in this day, it's about following your breath, again back here in this present moment. And when you do, this time, you take the flower with you. You hold the memory in the center. We hold it in the third eye. Thank you very much.